So it turns out that NSA analysts have been spying in on their loved ones, on their love interests, people that they want to hook up with, relationships, and investigating people. Is anyone surprised by this? Now, this comes after about 2 weeks of the NSA releasing a statement, yeah, so we spied in, we accidentally collected data on Americans 3,000 times just last year. There have been some intentional, overzealous NSA analysts in the past, but now specifically when it comes to spying in on love interests, everything that we expected to be true turns out to be true. In fact, they even have a term for it at the NSA, LOVEINT, which is kind of cute, I suppose. Now this falls with their normal naming scheme of things like sigint for signals intelligence, humint for human intelligence. That, I guess, is a relic of the Cold War. I guess we don't do that anymore. We just spy in through digital means. But yeah, so this is what we've been predicting all along. Ever since Edward Snowden released his first few revelations, we knew that this is where it would go to. Now, what they're saying is that there have only been a few cases of this that they've been able to find, which implies to me one of two things. Either they are lying about that, or they are doing absolutely nothing to investigate the chance that this is going on. Because put yourself, I'm sure that you see yourself as a moral, ethical person. Put yourself in the position of an NSA analyst who has the ability to tap into cell phone calls, email information, browsing habits, Snapchats, Twitter history, things like that. Would you be able to resist the urge to find out a little bit of information about somebody that you're interested in romantically or sexually? I consider myself to be an ethical person, but that sort of information is just too appealing as humans. And can we really expect that NSA officers are more ethical, more moral than the average American? Probably not. They're probably run-of-the-mill, the same as anyone else. And that means that they will fall to this temptation. And we know from what Edward Snowden has released that many, possibly millions of government agents and contractors working for the government have access to this information. So the idea that a few people have done it, that's insane. No, thousands, possibly millions have done it, have looked in on people they were personally interested in, have looked in on celebrities they were interested in. This should be the least surprising thing in the world. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that this came out, even though it's horrible for those people that were spied in on, because it seems like over the past few months, simply finding out that the government is spying on you is not enough to convince Americans that this is wrong, that this needs to stop. There should be much more opposition to it than there has been. Perhaps when it comes down to NSA agents and possibly other government contractors looking in on people that they're sexually interested in, maybe that will clue people in that something needs to be done. Because it's very easy, unfortunately, for most Americans to say, well, I'm not doing any kind of spying, I'm not acting out against the government, I'm not committing any crimes, and so I have nothing to fear. But you don't need to be doing any of that stuff to have something to fear. In fact, it can simply be that someone's interested in stalking you. And perhaps that will scare people into some sort of activism against this. That's my hope. Now, there are far better reasons, I think, to oppose the NSA's violations of our privacy. But if that's what gets people caring about it, if LOVEINT is what changes the polls, I'd be more than happy about that.